Hi everyone. I hope I got this right. For some reason, it's a bit different tonight than last time, so I'm hoping it's okay. So hi, my name's Susan. Let's get us started off tonight. Where's everyone joining us from? Can you let me know in the comments? I'm in Sydney and we're still in lockdown, and it's really windy tonight. So I've closed like all the windows and stuff, but outside it sounds like it's absolutely just like blowing a gale. So hopefully that doesn't affect us. Hi, Carrie. Thanks for joining us from Geelong. How's how's Victoria these days? Hi, Natasha. Looks like there's a few of us still in lockdown coming in from Sydney. So I think we're going to be here a few more weeks. So it's a good time to get some extra sewing in. So while we're just waiting for a few extra people, has anyone sewn up their sports bra yet? Um, I've got a whole stash. Actually, we did the washing this morning and I was stacking it all up before I started tonight. So as you can see, I've been quite busy. And these aren't all of my sports bras. So yeah, I've been making a lot. So I've got it down quite fast. There's a video for you to sew along with for version A, and hopefully I'll have the videos for versions B and C coming up soon. I just have to try and finish them up as much as possible. I've been a little bit slow with my editing. So if you've been joining the channel for a while, you'll normally see me unboxing one of the lingerie boxes. And tonight I thought I would go through and show you how I try and get as much out of the box as I possibly can, because you want to try and use up everything. Plus it's super pretty to have an actual ones. Hi, people coming in from New York. What time is it there? Is it like a crazy time of the night or day? I always get my time zones around the world just so crazy. Um, I joined a online course the other day and they were like, "You're in Sydney? Like, what, is it the middle of the night?" And I was like, "No, no, it's like lunchtime." So I'm glad it's not just me who doesn't understand time zones quite so well. So yeah, so normally you see me unbox one of the boxes, and this was the Sand and Sea box, which was actually the June one. You can, I'm going to pop a link in the notes underneath, and you'll be able to see my whole unboxing of the June ones. But I don't have much left, so I've kept all the scraps in here so I can show you how well you can use everything. So I'm just going to show you kind of my scraps first, which is a weird way to start. So when I was going through these to get it all ready for tonight, I've got a little bit of the mesh lace, a bit of the blue polyester satin. It's lots of weird shapes, which I'll explain why in a bit. And then lots of like properly scrappy bits. If I was like super diligent, maybe with like this cream crystal piece here, I think I could probably squeeze at least one more pair of like bikini style knickers out of this one, or maybe like the front of a very small pair out of this one. But other than that, the blue satin, the navy satin, sorry, I might be able to fit some pieces out of, but a lot of the pieces left over are really weird shapes. And it's kind of like little bits. So still kind of like useful bits, but definitely on the kind of like, I've got to be determined to use my scraps up kind of aspect. So that's in the kind of scrap box. And then left over, I have some of the beautiful lace, which hopefully you can sort of see. To make it a little bit easier tonight for my background, I've actually covered one of my spare screens with some wadding. So it makes it a bit lighter, because otherwise it was going to be a little bit difficult. And this is actually my stash of fabric here. So I live in a very tiny apartment, so we kind of just make do with space. So the computer I'm actually talking to normally sits here, so my stash sits next to my computer. So that's why it looks a bit funny today. All right, so I've got a little bit of lace left, a little bit of picot, some underwire casing, a bra back, and some power mesh. So I have used some of all of these, but these are the leftovers, but these are like the really super useful. I don't have to think about it. It's an easy leftovers to use up. Um, I also have my little charms, which aren't leftovers. I just haven't sewn them on yet. So I had this box included 4 charms. So I had the cute little white jangly ones, the cutest, tiniest little seahorse, a single shell, and a little fish. So I'm going to add those on later on when I pull out my hand sewing needles. So I'm going to get started with showing you what I made. Just going to move my keyboard. So has anyone else been subscribing to the boxes? Does anyone else have this box? Let me know. It's always great to know if other people are looking for ideas of this specific box, or just in general, if you're getting different pieces. Okay, so I put some things on coat hangers because I was like, it might be really hard to talk about it while I'm doing it. And now I realized I don't think I could ever work retail in a lingerie place because it's really hard to hang up bras. Okay, so this is the first piece. It's actually an Emma bralette, which is one of my own patterns. So you can buy the pattern for this one on my website. And for this one, I've used the fold over elastic, which was in the kit, the mesh, and then I've lined the mesh with some of the crystal lycra, and the back is the power mesh. Now, the power mesh with the picot on the bottom has decided to go very curly, which is really frustrating because it actually sewed on beautifully, but it just doesn't want to sort of sit kind of flat. And I added my own hardware for this because I used the hardware that was included in the box for something else. So that was the Emma bralette. Cool. So it looks like Amber's been a recent subscriber to the boxes. Hi, Amber. And Maria said she's got the August box. And the Lingerie Society has joined us. Hi. And they've made a bra and pants with this set, but they've still got rest of their box to go. And Carrie's got this one too. So it looks like a few people are here looking for some ideas. So this was my Emma bralette. To give you an idea of usage, most of mine are cut to between a size 16 and an 18, so a 16 and an 18 Australian sizing. So kind of, middle of the road-ish in terms of size brackets. I don't think I've cut anything in a different size. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I might make that one for a friend or something, but I think everything is sort of roughly that kind of size at the moment. So this one works really well. The mesh was super easy to sew, and this was the nicest fold over to sew. It went together really beautifully. So first up was our Emma. So, and I tried a little bit to make some sets with this one. So when I start out, if I'm like, okay, I definitely want to use this mesh the most, I will bring out all of my lingerie patterns that I know fit me straight away. Once I've got all the patterns out, I then go, okay, these ones are for a knit fabric, these ones for a lace, and basically play Tetris and make everything fit as much as possible. So I started off with my Emma, and then I made another one of my own patterns. So this is the Lizzie, which I have, the Lizzie knickers, which I have modified a little bit. So included in the box this time was this lovely wide plush elastic. It's super matte on the outside and super smooth on the inside, which is really lovely. So I cut the front using the jersey mesh. So on the actual pattern, it says it's for woven, but you can use a jersey. If you use a jersey for the whole thing, size down, because otherwise it ends up too wrinkly. But you can sort of mix and match a little bit. You just got to watch your sizing. So jersey on the front, and then I use the cute mesh on the back, which is really, I really like the way it looks. And I feel like as a combined set, between the two. It just looks really fresh being sort of similar but different. So I think those ones worked out really well. Um, I know on the back of this one, the size 18 knicker was like a centimeter too wide than the width of the fabric. So I just made it a bit straighter at the top to make it fit in. So sometimes you can think about that kind of thing, particularly on a knicker like this, which has like an elasticized size, that you can actually just sort of make it a little smaller. Be cautious about making everything smaller because then you've just made a different size. But yeah, I just sort of, that little top bit's a little bit straighter than normal, but it worked out really well. So that was kind of the first sort of set. And then because we're in lockdown and I haven't been wearing my underwired bras as much because just not going out, and I wanted something super comfortable. I've been wearing the, I'm always going to get this wrong, the Maya bra from Studio Costura. I hope I've got the name right. I should. But so this is it. Sorry, my lights are blowing out the color. I'm just going to move it back a little bit. So it's the crystal mesh in the kind of peachy color with some of the seafoam blue lace at the front. And then this bottom elastic, if I can get it into the screen, it's actually a herringbone, but it's an elastic. So it looks really cool and quite sporty. And I really liked it. And then I've used the beautiful wide elastic from the actual kit as well for this one. And again, I'm just going to show you the back. Look how beautiful this hardware looks. I love how kind of solid it is, just like every time. So again, if you've seen me make pretty much anything, you know I don't mind mixing and matching my colors and my patterns together. I can see the Lingerie Society have just gone, oh my gosh, I like that. And I think with something like this, you can mix it up really well, and it works really well in terms of being able to play with it. And that's some of the picot, which I had a little bit left over at the end as well. So I'm just going to show you on the back of this one, the way, oh, if I can show it, the elastic has sewn in so nice and flat to this really beautiful heavyweight power mesh. It's sometimes I know people are like, oh, power mesh, like my machine skips stitches or does something, but this one I was just using a size 80 or 90 stretch needle, and it was just so easy. And this one's actually the triple stitch because I like how flat the triple stitch is on my machine. So I was super happy with that one. And it's been quite hard for me to not wear that. I was like, no, got to keep it like ready for the actual live stream. And I was laughing at myself earlier because I was ironing everything to make it look all nice for the live stream. And I don't think I've ever not ironed knickers in my life. But wow, it made it look much better for the actual live stream. So yeah, if you need to take photos, just a really light iron on a synthetic setting makes a big difference. So that was the Studio Costura bra. And I'm going to put links to all of the patterns in probably tomorrow. Depends how long it takes for the YouTube to actually process this and put it all up as well. So that was kind of patterns that I had been working with and I've used before that I've actually done. And then I've been working on some new patterns and I just was like, I'm just going to give it a try. So one of the things I kind of give myself permission to do with the lingerie boxes is I want them to be fun and I don't want to have the pressure of thinking, oh, I must save them for good. So if anyone's been following me for a while on Instagram, you'll know a few years back we had a house fire and I lost the bulk of my stash and basically most things that we own. So what I always tell people is don't save the good fabric, cut the good fabric now, because the worst that happens is you make something else out of it if this one doesn't fit. So that's my plan going into all of the Lingerie Society boxes, to just go for it. So with that in mind, I have put out a new pattern, which I actually made live on the website today. So it's called the Trinette Knicker, and it's a little French knicker sort of style. So originally I did it so that it was, just making sure I pick up the right sample, a bias cut woven French knicker, which is what this one is based on. So I made it to sit quite low-ish on the waist, but there is more than one waist option, if you can tell. I'm just going to try and find the crotch. So it's not terribly high from crotch up. There's also more than one leg length as well. Yes, Natasha, cut out the good fabric. I've been seeing some of your beautiful Liberty makes you've been making, and they look gorgeous. So little French knicker. This one has got picot elastic in the top, which I use from the actual box as well. And even though this was cut on the bias, which is why I said earlier that some of my leftovers of the navy are really weird shapes, it's because I cut this on the bias, and so I had some like odd kind of leftover shapes of that. But in saying that, I could probably use some of them to like line another bra or do something like that. So, and then I added the lace to match the bra. So to actually add the lace in, I'm just going to flip it to the inside so you can see. And I haven't trimmed it back because I wanted to make sure you could actually see this on screen today. I actually cut to the side seam, then reduced 2 centimeters off each side of the side seam. I just like literally drew a ruler down and cut it off. And then I zigzag stitched in the lace from the top. So I did have to go a little bit slower because it is on the bias, so you don't want to stretch your fabric. So I just pinned in the lace so it was nice and flat, and then just fed it through the machine, just like nice and flat the whole way through. So I think they look really cute, and I can't wait to decide what little charm to put on the front. I was kind of thinking maybe the little fish, because I really like the little fish. So I might do a little bow and add something in for that one. So that was the Trinette knickers. And on the bottoms here, I've just done a little tiny French roll hem. But I did this one on my overlocker. So it was a little bit sneaky. Rather than try and have to actually manipulate it all through my machine, I just put it through the overlocker and it was a bit easier. So do remember, if you do have an overlocker, to see if your overlocker can do that, because it's a big savings to do that. So that's the Trinette. And then I had been looking at what fabrics I had left over when I was cutting out, and I had lots of this really lovely teal color left over from the Lizzie knickers. And I was like, what can I do with it? And I was kind of like trying to see if I could fit an Emma with it before I changed my mind and just decided to make the Emma bralette instead of the whole Emma. And I actually cut another pair of trinettes, but this time in the knit. So in the knit fabric, I haven't cut them on the bias. They're just a straight grain. So if you do buy the pattern, you'll see that the pattern has both the bias grain for wovens in there and the straight grain. It does work on the straight grain for wovens as well, but they're a little less flirty and a little less kind of showing up. So but yeah, so that's that in the knit. And I've just put some picot at the top, and then in the box we had these beautiful little appliques. So I'm just going to try and see if I can show you. So in the appliques, it was actually 2 separate ones, and they're just zigzagged on. So if you're going to zigzag onto a really flexible knit like this, lots of pins is your answer. So I just pinned it in place, and if I show the inside, you'll see that it just sits completely flat, but you can see where the actual zigzags are. But if you didn't tell anyone there were zigzags, I don't think anyone would actually see it on the actual set. So that's kind of really cool. So yeah, so they're another little cute little kind of set. These ones are sit very low on the body in the knit, because I think the knit's a little bit heavier than the satin, and so it sits a little bit heavier, like lower down on the body because it just kind of not drags down, but just kind of has more weight to it. Um, so yeah, so that's everything I've made from the Sand and Sea box, from the June subscription of the Lingerie Society. Um, and as I said, when I look at my scraps or my leftovers, if I was super diligent, I reckon I could squeeze one more pair of bikini knickers and something else. It would definitely be something where I'd be piecing things together, which not piecing in a bad way, just like having to think about it and having to think ahead of what's actually going to happen. So, but all in all, I think two pairs of Trinette knickers, a pair of Lizzie knickers. Oh my gosh, my desk is now piled up with things. um, and then the Studio Costura bra and the Emma. I feel like it's tons. Like it's so much stuff. And because all of the colors match so well when you get the box, like everything now coordinates together. So you don't feel like you have to wait for the for the wash day to come around again to wear part of your set because you've got more parts. Um, so yeah, it's been really fun. But as I said, what I try and do every time I get the boxes is I pull together all of my patterns, separate them into what is woven and what is knit, and then cut as much as I can the first time I cut, and fill in all the holes, because that way you can get, I think, the most amount out, because you're like, oh, I can shuffle that, or I could move that, or do like what I said with the Lizzie knickers, where I've like slightly taken them like a little bit less wide. Yeah, so that's really cool. So um, yeah. Don't forget to hit like on the video to let me know if you like this kind of content, and hit the subscribe button to see more videos. So my current plan is to try and do some live streams and then some like sewing how-to videos as well. So in the last 2 weeks since we did a live stream, you'll have seen the video for the sports bra. Oops, sideways. The sports bra version A has turned up, as well as one for the active beanie. So the active beanie is great to make for Christmas presents, or if you're a cyclist or a runner, or have anyone in your household who likes to go hiking. And it uses like a tiny amount of fabric, so it's super fast. So we'll have more of those coming out each week, and then more of these. Definitely keep an eye out for more versions of the Trinette knickers coming up, because I will be sharing more of those and doing a video for that soon. Yeah, so thanks so much for coming along and seeing what I made. Before we head off for the night, does anyone have any more questions about things or patterns that they want to know about or anything? It is a lot, like Catherine's saying how much I get out of a box, and it is a lot out of a box. Um, and I feel like it's because A, the boxes are super generous. Like you get so much in the box. Like when you unpack the box, there's just stuff coming for ages, which is awesome. But I also think that planning it out really helps. And because I go in with the mindset of like trying to like basically smash the box and figure out how much stuff I can get out of it, I do it. So I'm partway through making up at least, well, multiple boxes to be honest, but I'm partway making through one where I didn't plan it out. And I think that's going to be the one I'm going to share next time. And you'll see how I didn't do such a good job with the planning, but I've still ended up with lots of beautiful pieces. So hopefully that one will be up next. Yeah, I think the Trinette knickers are definitely going to be my summer bedtime staples for sure, because you can just make them on everything. All right, so I'm going to say goodbye to everyone for tonight. Thank you so much for coming. It's wonderful to like see you all. Hopefully, those of you who are in Sydney can find some inspiration and get some sewing done while you're in lockdown. For everyone else around the world, I hope you're having either a good day or a good night, depending on what time zone you're in. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button so you know when the next lot of videos are coming. Thanks so much. Bye.